Glad you made it back.
Did you really think this would work?
Sirus, please, we want to help you. Don't do anything hasty.
Destroying you is as easy as flicking a pest.
No!
Sana!
Kirak!
How boring and small.
You want the Atlas? Take it. It's yours. But Oriath, I will burn to the ground.
Perhaps the suffering of my fellow citizens will finally stir something.
Rain of stars! Creation is...
What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention.
Low on mana.
Die.
Watch guilty crumble! Pointless! Glorious flames! Creation itself!
The others found strength in their projections. They became reliant on them. I am not so foolish. Be silent.
This world is doomed!
Die.
Watch guilty crumble! Rain of stars! Glorious flames! Be utterly annihilated!
Is life really interesting enough?
I have seen beyond.
Die. Die. Die.
Your lives are meaningless. You are nothing. Rain of stars. Be utterly annihilated.
On the edge of death, my heart races. I am alive.
Beyond, there is only horror. Everlasting fire.
You will long for
Non-existence. Die. Consumed! Everlasting fire!
Meaning
Is an illusion. Die. Be silent. Die. Beyond, there is only horror. Everlasting fire!
meaning
Is an illusion. Die. Be silent. Beyond, there is only horror. Everlasting fire!
feel the thrill of
The void. Die.
I felt something.
I'm sorry. Sirus is...
Okay, I guess I'll do a very quick rundown of what's going on here. I'm playing Icicle Mines Saboteur. The skill tree I'm using is very similar to the PoE Vault tree. The only changes I've made were, since I'm only level 95, I did not spec down into Constitution. Instead, I just picked up some life where it was really easy, like an extra point there. Come down here, grabbed a point here. I think this is already there. I didn't take blast waves, and instead I spec'd into a little more mana. I took an extra mana node here. I took some mana and spell damage, and I took Prodigal Perfection just because it's more mana and a bunch more damage. And other than that, it's not too crazy. And I guess another big difference is I didn't take Demolition Specialist, instead went for Explosives Expert. As far as the gear is concerned, nothing's super expensive. I got one of these Redeemer wands with the Frostbite on hit and a bunch of other good stats. Incidentally, the fire damage to spells gives me a chance to ignite to proc the crit multi from Explosives Expert, so it's not a completely dead stat. Mark of the Shaper with an Elder Ring. I got the critical strike multiplier on the helmet. I crafted this, and I got pretty, I would say I got pretty lucky. I got a +1 level to cold and intelligence amulet, which really helps with getting a bunch of the gems up to a higher level. Multi-modded shield. Really sweet remove and chill and freeze when you use a flask on the belt, which enabled me to drop drop freeze from my flask. A very nice pair of crafted gloves with the spell damage, double spell damage and cold damage from fossils. Just a nice solid pair of boots, nothing super special here. What else here? Yeah, nothing crazy. The jewels in the tree are just life, damage, and multi, pretty much for the most part. With an Aziri's Promise, a Diamond Flask, and a Wise Oak, and I am triple balanced. And yeah, I don't think there's anything. Oh, and the skills, I'm using Vol, Righteous Fire, Vault Grace. I do use Smoke Mine. I use Frost Bomb, which is linked with Curse on Hit and Elemental Weakness. I guess that's another thing too. I can apply an additional curse with the chest piece, So generally, while mapping, I'm getting the Frostbite from the wand, and when I take a hit, I have Enfeeble and an Immortal Call on a cast when damage taken. But when it's time to really burst down, this is putting Elemental Weakness plus Frostbite on the bosses. So yeah, I mean, the gear, you can definitely do Awakener 8 Sirus with a little less gear than this. Obviously, the fight was pretty sloppy. I've only done it a couple times. I'm not too familiar with it. But the build can do it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. See ya.